Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastava. Today we are going to study the topic role of self-help groups in rural development. Before presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I am Vijay Kumar Srivastava. I have done MS Agriculture with a specialization in agronomy and presently working in private job and associated with seed industry. This YouTube channel is aimed to students who are preparing for various agriculture and competitive examinations. So my motto is to help them up to the best possible level by giving the best content. So let's move on. First, let's understand what is a self-help group, SHG. This is a small group of poor people who are coming forward voluntarily to form a group, join a group, and they are keenly interested in improvement of socio and economic status of the members. This is a village-based financially intermediary group which is composed of 10 to 20 members who may be women or men. Generally, women are main participant in self-help groups. While self-help group focus on individual, but group is having idea of mutual support and helping each other. These self-help groups may be formal, it may be registered or informal. And this group is working on the concept of thrift, means efficient utilization of money and other resources, credit means saving, and self-help. The group is working on the principle to encourage saving regularly and contribute to common, and this common fund is utilized to grant loan to needy persons as per the decision of the group and as per the existing policy. A self-help group can be defined as a small economically homogeneous group which is consisting of rural poor, and they are voluntarily interested to form a group and they are gathered to save a small amount regularly, and this saved amount will be deposited in a common fund, and this common fund will be utilized to meet members' emergency needs. In other cases, this fund can be used to provide collateral free loans as decided by the group, or it may be also utilized to grant a loan on a small interest on rotational or need basis. Here to study the characteristics of self-help group. We will go through some common characteristics of self-help group which are important. The self-help groups are characterized by a focused attention on providing employment opportunities by imparting training in order to generate both income as well as employment. These groups are homogeneous in nature, in social and economic backgrounds, heritage, caste or traditional occupation, who are coming together for a common cause to raise and manage resources for the benefit of the group members. The groups are voluntary in nature and they are run by and for group members which are having regular meetings and are open to new members. The groups are generally being formed in response to a particular issue, like if the students are not having the education facilities, or there is income generating opportunities, or some social problematic issues. These groups are having clear and collective goals which originate from the need of group members and are known and shared by all members, and these issues are tackled by the group. These groups are generally informal structure and having basic rules, regulations and guidelines to show members how to work effectively together, and these groups can be formal or registered also. These groups are participatory in nature, which are involving getting help, sharing knowledge and experience, giving help, and learning to help oneself. These groups are having the shared responsibility among group members. Each member has a clear role and contributes the resources to the group. These groups are having democratic decision making, where everyone is having the active role participation and everyone is having the respect to share their views. These groups are having the governance by members, and there may be also utilization of external facilitator if necessity is there. In such groups, there is evolution over time to address a broader range of issues, and there is possibility of joining together to form a federation of groups across a wider area. Origin of self-help group. Regarding this, the credit goes to Muhammad Yunus, who was a Nobel Peace Prize winner from Bangladesh. The origin of self-help group can be traced is from Grameen Bank of Bangladesh, which was founded by Muhammad Yunus. From there was initiation of formation of self-help group. In India, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, played important role in supporting self-help groups. NABARD started its activities to promote self-help group in 1986-87. The concept behind self-help group evolved to organize the rural poor to meet their productive and consumption need out of their saving, and the establishment of self-help groups led by absence of institutional credit facilities in rural areas. In 1991-92, NABARD has given the focus on promoting self-help groups in large scale by linkage of self-help group with banks, and this was the time where the real takeoff point was initiated for self-help group movement. In 1993, Reserve Bank of India also allowed self-help groups to open their accounts in bank and utilize the bank facilities, which has given the major boost to the self-help group movement. In recent years, self-help groups have emerged as important form of collective action in rural India, and they are playing important role as the rural development is concerned. Self-help group movement has now become a countrywide movement, which was followed by the NABARD sponsored self-help group and bank linkage program, which was started in 1992. As per report from NABARD published in 2015, there were around 7.9 million self-help groups in our country in 2015, out of which more than 75% were exclusively women self-help groups. And as per the recent data, women are contributing significantly well, and they are having the active participation in self-help group movement. As per NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, the self-help group were defined as a group of 20 or less people from a homogeneous class who are willing to come together for addressing their common problems. Generally, the self-help group is a development group and informal in nature, which may consist 10 to 20 persons. In exceptional cases where the area is scattered and is having a sparse population, and there is difficult areas like desert or hilly regions, there the strength of group member may be 5 to 20. So for the difficult areas, there is separate focus for the boosting the self-help group movement. The group shall not consist of more than one member from one family. The central idea of self-help as per NABARD, you alone can do it, but you cannot do it alone. The self-help group method is used by the government, non-government organizations, and other worldwide. Self-help groups are considered as an important institution at local level, and they are playing great extent role in rural development. Genesis and history of self-help groups. The self-help group movement was initiated under leadership of Mairada, which was a non-governmental organization engaged in rural development in Karnataka during 1984-85. It promoted several cooperative societies which were enabled to give loans to their members, and the wave of movement given birth to around 300 self-help groups in 1986-87, which were formed in Mairada project. The other example is SEWA, which is Self-Employed Women Association, which is pioneer in training to groups on several agendas to make success of their movements. SEWA was started in 1972 as a trade union for women in the unorganized sector, and it is having pride in running first women bank in the country. Other examples, subsequently the large cooperative were broken off into small groups, which were the genesis of the first self-help group, referred to at that time as credit management groups, with a focus on the management of credit. The concept of self-help group, where each member is making a saving, there is the system of regular meetings, bookkeeping and record maintenance, and collective decision making. So members have to follow the principles of the group in a desirable order. There were pilot study where the NABARD has the mainstream role in self-help group and bank linkage program initiated in 1996 is a normal lending activity. The program then spread rapidly and across the country. By 2002, it was resulted as largest microfinance program in the world run by NABARD. Thus, the history of self-help group promotion started with non-government organizations taking the lead in the mid-1980s, and this lead was passed to the NABARD in late 1980s. After the self-help group and bank linkage program in 1992 starting, when it was launched, the very first loans to self-help group in the country were given to Kolar district of Karnataka by Vyasa Bank. After that, Reserve Bank of India and various multilateral agencies came forward to help and contribute to the growth of self-help groups. As history of self-help group is concerned, the concept of self-help group was not new to Maharashtra. The women of Amravati district of Maharashtra had established self-help groups long back in 1947 by contributing only 25 paise. Further in 1988, Chaitanya Gramin Mahila Bal Yuvak Sanstha started promoting self-help group in Pune district, focusing on women for economic and social development. In southern India, the foundations like Sadhan, Dhan and Asa worked on promoting self-help groups, but they were mainly focusing on economic aspects for the economic development of the rural area. As Maharashtra is concerned, not only the non-government organizations catered the economic need of the participants, but also involved in the process of social development. Presently, numerous non-government organizations and government institutions are there which are promoting self-help groups on a large scale. In the decades of 90s and 20s, National Agriculture Bank for Rural Development, NABARD, government organizations, non-government organizations, microfinance institutions initiated and started self-help groups for microfinance, microcredit activities for the objectives of poverty alleviation, women empowerment and financial inclusion. Government India had also decided to restructure the self-employment program which were not earlier in existence. A new program known as Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana was initiated in April 1999 in context with this development. Here to study why self-help groups are formed. The strategy behind self-help group can be defined as poverty alleviation, human development and social empowerment. The purpose of self-help groups is to build the functional capacity of the poor and the marginalized in the field of employment and income generating activities. If we are forming a self-help group, this group can change the basic thinking of members about themselves and their ability to perform independently. It can provide social recognition and acceptance for a given task through its collective approach. It can build collective strength and promote initiation of new projects or ideas to bring out necessary changes in the lives of members. It can improve the economic status of its members by regular saving and quick loan facility. It can promote group access to banks and loans, improve access to information about governmental or non-governmental and beneficiary oriented schemes or programs. It can resolve social and other disputes and inculcate the feelings of self-reliance leading to the development in the right direction. So all these can take place with a collective approach of the members and developing the confidence and desires in themselves. The concept of self-help groups. Introduction and background. Self-help groups play today a major role in poverty alleviation in rural India. A growing number of poor people, mostly women in various parts of India, are members of self-help groups and actively engaged in saving and credit as well as in other activities like income generation, natural resources management, literacy, child care and nutrition. The savings and credit focus in the self-help group is the most prominent element and offers a chance to create some control over capital, albeit in very small amounts. The self-help group system has proven to be very relevant and effective in offering women the possibility to break gradually away from exploitation and isolation. Means it is giving the women empowerment. The concept of self-help group services the principle is by the women, of the women and for the women. In most of the cases, women are major participants in self-help groups. Their strength is more compared to men. Self-help groups are voluntary associations of people with common interest formed to achieve collective social and economic goals. Such groups are organized for mutual help and benefit, and it is formed democratically without any political affiliations. This group may comprise of 15 to 20 women or men, although they generally consist exclusively of women members. In India, more than 90% groups are formed by women is done at micro or group level. The initial operations of self-help groups start with collecting savings from members. These groups inculcate the habit of thrift among the members. By collecting a small savings, huge amount can be raised, and these groups advance loan to the needy members. The total funds owned by the group are thus circulated in the form of loan among the members. So these are the concept of self-help groups. The objectives of self-help group. The objectives can be described as to develop the habits of saving and banking among the members, to ensure the availability of loans for productive purposes, to help the members uplifting their social and economic status, and gain economic prosperity through credit facilities, to secure the members from financial, moral and technical strength, to initiate a group feeling among the members and enhance the confidence and capabilities of them. Other objectives to instill the values of collective decision making and problem solving among the members, to sensitize the women of the rural and urban poor areas and its relevance in their strengthening of the status, to make them learn the organization and management of finance and distribution of benefits, to motivate the members, especially women, to take up the social responsibilities related to the development, and other objective to develop a forum for the members to provide them with space and support for each other. The principles of self-help group. The basic principles of self-help group can be described as group approach. Mutual trust of a small and manageable groups. A spirit of thrift means efficient utilization of money and other resources to get the maximum benefits. There should be demand-based lending systems, collateral-free loan, poor-friendly loan to members, peer group pressure in repayment, and skill training, capacity building and empowerment to the members. These are the principles as per recommended by Lalita in 1998. As the principles of self-help group are concerned, self-help supplemented with mutual help can be a powerful vehicle for the poor in their socio-economic development. Participative financial services management is more responsive and efficient. Poor need not only credit support but also savings and other services are needed. Poor can save and are bankable, and self-help groups as clients result in wider outreach, lower transaction cost and much lower risk cost for the bank. Creation of common fund by contributing a small savings on a regular basis is the theme of self-help groups. There is flexible democratic system of working. Loaning is done mainly on trust with a bare documentation without any security. The amounts loaned are small, frequent and for short duration. Defaults are rare mainly due to group pressure, and there should be periodic meetings on non-traditional savings. Now to study the need and importance of self-help group. We will go through summarized points which is reflecting the topic. There is need and importance to make the rural population accessible and available with the credit and finances. Inadequate resources and lack of knowledge restricts them from availing the complete benefits for the same. There is need to take collective action against breaking the chain of poverty, to mobilize the resources of the individual members for their collective economic development, need to uplift the living conditions of the poor, to obtain financial independence through self-employment opportunities and facilities, develop a sound community networks in the villages, to create a habit of savings and utilization of local resources efficiently, to mobilize individual skills for groups' interest, to develop and build social capital for the women, to create awareness about their rights, to assist the members financially at the time of need, entrepreneurship development, to identify problems, analyzing and finding solutions in the groups, to act as a media for socio-economic development of villages and for poverty alleviations. There is need to develop linkage with institutions of non-government organizations, to organize training for skill development, to help in recovery of loans, to gain mutual understanding, develop trust and self-confidence, to develop leadership qualities, to build up teamwork, to use the group as an effective delivery channel for rural credit, and to improve the literacy level for better family planning and better healthcare system for the members of self-help groups and other people. So these are the various points which are reflecting the need and importance of self-help group for rural development. Now we will study the role of self-help group in rural development. The role can be defined as first one, financially empowerment. Self-help groups programs are intended to reach poor segments of society as they lack access to financial services. Second is generating self-employment. In order to change the face of socio-economic scenario, micro-enterprises and self-help groups are playing significant role in the self-employment by raising the level of income and standard of living rural people. Third role is credit availability. Bank credits are not easily accessible to individual poor, but by forming a self-help group, there are make better prospects for bank credits. Under the self-help group and bank linkage program, many self-help of microcredit facility. Fourth role is developing micro-enterprise and entrepreneurship. There are opportunities for self-employment through setting of micro-enterprise, which can be ranges from dairy to mechanized farming, weaving, poultry, food processing units, mushroom cultivation, etc. Now there are a lot of scopes in rural India for setting up micro-enterprises by forming self-help groups. Next role is skill development. A skill development program undertaken by self-help groups improves employability of members who are involved in group. Sixth role is rural poverty alleviation. Self-help groups have become a vehicle to lift people from below poverty, generate awareness about welfare and developmental schemes of government, and monitor its implementation. Seventh role is improving living standards. As a result of increased jobs, there is rise in income which enhances access to food, health services, and overall rise in living standards. Eighth role is women empowerment. By providing employment opportunities, financially and social security, self-help groups help improve the status of women and create awareness regarding their rights and responsibilities. Ninth role can be defined as improving literacy rates. With more women participation and their enhanced status address issues such as nutrition, poverty and low literacy rates, we can focus for improving literacy rates and their education. 10th role is social capital. The self-help group provide a forum in which people can meet on a regular basis and discuss various issues or concerns that the members face in their day-to-day life, which acts as the basic source of social capital generation. 11th role is self-reliance. Self-help group movement is supposed to build economic self-reliance of rural poor, overcome misuse, and create prominently among women who are mostly unseen in the social structure. 12th role is conflict resolution. The members of the group face several kinds of circumstances. The self-help groups are encouraged to discuss and rule out solutions to the problems of the members and working ethical. 13th role is mobilization of savings. The members have to decide the amount of savings every member has to make towards the group fund. 14th is maintenance of records. Every self-help group has to maintain a set of books. The books which a group shall maintain, like saving register, attendance book, loan register, minutes book, and members passbook, etc. 15th role is collective guarantee system. Agent work is a collective guarantee system for the members who borrow from the organized resources the group serves for them. 16th role is microfinance services. Self-help groups have emerged as powerful tool or measure to uplift the status of the people belonging to a weaker background socially and economically. Therefore, these self-help groups are a strong tool to deliver microfinance services. So, these are the roles which are described for self-help groups. Benefits of self-help groups. First one is social integrity. Self-help groups encourages collective efforts for combating practices like dowry and alcoholism at rural level. Women empowerment. Women self-help groups make its members from social constraints and allow them to make independent decisions. They can even actively participate in the Gram Sabha. Self-help groups improves the standard of living. The collective team efforts by self-help groups for financial inclusion allows for the improvement in the living standard, family planning, healthcare of the vulnerable section of the society. Self-help groups have active participation in democracy. Self-help groups can actively participate in the aspect of local governance. This would mean the inclusion of weaker and marginalized sections of the society in the local governance. There will be gender equity. Self-help groups empowers women and inculcates leadership skill among them. Empowered women participate more actively in Gram Sabha and elections. There is evidence in this country as well as elsewhere that formation of self-help groups has a multiplier effect in improving women's status in society as well as in the family, leading to improvement in their socio-economic condition and also enhances their self. Because of self-help groups, there will be increased employment opportunities in rural India. It allows for micro-level entrepreneurship within the rural society and reduces too much dependence on agriculture. Because of self-help groups, there will be easier government schemes. The government schemes are mostly meant for the marginalized sections of the society. The inclusion and identification of these people are highly difficult. If they are grouped together, it is easier for the government to identify those who are in need of assistance quickly and efficiently. The role of pressure groups. Their participation in governance process enables them to highlight issues such as dowry, alcoholism, the menace of open defecation, primary health care issues, etc. and impact policy decisions. Because of self-help groups, there is voice to marginalized section. Most of the beneficiaries of government schemes have been from weaker and marginalized communities, and hence their participation through self-help groups ensures social justice. Another benefit is financial inclusion. Priority sector lending norms and assurance of returns incentivize banks to lend to self-help groups. The self-help group bank linkage program pioneered access to credit easier and reduced the dependence on traditional money lenders and other non-institutional sources. Because of self-help groups, there will be improving efficiency of government schemes and reducing corruption through social audits. There will be alternate source of employment. Each self-help group eases dependency on agriculture by providing support in setting up micro-enterprises and personal businesses ventures like tailoring, grocery and tool repair shops, and etc. There will be changes in consumption pattern, as it has enabled the participating households to spend more on education, food and health than non-client households. Because of self-help group, there will be positive impact on housing and health. The financial inclusion attained through self-help groups has led to reduced child mortality, improved maternal health, and the ability of the poor to combat disease through better nutrition, housing and health, especially among women and children. There will be banking literacy, as self-help group encourages and motivates its members to save and act as a conduit for formal banking services to reach them. Self-help groups improve the culture of financial discipline. The members of the self-help groups are encouraged to open saving accounts in banks, and this assures improved living conditions, increased spending on education and health, etc. Now, membership of self-help group. There is terms and conditions for creating the members of self-help group. A self-help group shall have a membership not less than 10 persons and not more than 20. So it is ranging from 10 to 20 persons. In this group, the members elect one animator and one representative who operate the group. The members should belong to the same villages where the group is formed, and the members should be based on affinity. They should having the homogeneous group. The groups could be mixed male and female members. The members of the group should preferably be from the low income group, and the person should not be a member of more than one group, and there should be only one member from one family. Now, records maintenance in self-help groups. It is mandatory to maintain some specific records as required, and these records can be named as, first one is attendance register, which is required to record the attendance of all the members of group during the group meetings, and members may have to sign the register. Second is minutes book or proceeding register. The proceedings of all the group meetings along with the important decisions taken in each meetings are recorded in the register for the purpose of record keeping, reference and future planning. Third is saving ledger. This register shall have details of the total individual savings made by the group members. Fourth document is loan ledger. It has the details about the group loan. Fifth is cash book. Total group transactions are maintained in this book or register. Sixth is general ledger, which has the resolution of formation self-help groups in maintained by the office bearers. And seventh is individual passbook and bank passbook. Individual passbook should be in the hands of individual members of the group, and they should bring this passbook during meetings. Thrift and loan amount should be entered in the passbook by the bookkeeper. So these are the documents which are maintained by the groups. Now we will go through limitations of self-help groups. These limitations can be defined as: first one, too much dependency on government and non-government organizations. Many self-help groups are dependent on the promoter agencies for their survival. In case these agencies withdraw their support, the self-help groups are vulnerable to downfall. Second is, self-help group lacks qualified facilitator. The facilitators do not have professional training with regards to organizing self-help groups. The lack of qualified resource personnel is a hindrance in skill upgradations by the members. Third is, self-help groups lacks of upgradation skills. Most self-help groups are not making use of new technological innovations and skills. This is because there is limited awareness with regard to new technologies and do not have the necessary skill to make use of the same. Fourth is, self-help groups are run by non-professionals. There is no professionalism within the self-help groups. This doesn't promote the expansion and improvement of the self-help groups. This doesn't allow the increase of wages of the members and improvement in their living conditions. This also leads to error in accounting and mismanagement of the funds. Next is, self-help groups lack security. Self-help groups are mostly not registered. They are run based on the trust between the members. The savings made by the self-help groups members may not be safe, which brings in the mistrust between the members. Another limitation is the lack of resources and poor accounting practices that prevails, which leads to misappropriation of the accounts. Now to study the measures which are required to make self-help groups more effective. The measures can be defined as: first one, the government should play the role of a facilitator and promoter, create a supportive environment for the growth and development of the self-help group movement. The governing authorities and the government should keep a positive attitude and approach towards the poor and marginalized. Second is, expanding self-help group movement. The self-help group movement should be expanded to the credit deficient areas of the country. It would help the people of these areas to improve their socio-economic status and lead a better life with better living conditions. Third is, rapid expansion of financial infrastructure by the including that of NABARD, and by adopting extensive IT education and capacity building measures should be taken in these areas. Following of need-based approach, the commercial banks and NABARD should adopt a need-based approach. Working along with the state government, they should endeavor to innovate and design new financial products for these areas. There should be extension of self-help groups to urban and peri-urban areas. Self-help groups currently are limited to rural areas of India. Full stop. That should be efforts to extend them to be entered in urban and semi-urban areas to pave the way for the urban poor people. Efforts should be made to increase income generation abilities of the urban poor, as there has been a rapid rise in urbanization and many people remain financially excluded. Other measures: developing positive attitude. Government functionaries should treat the poor and marginalized as viable and responsible customers and as possible entrepreneurs. There is need of monitoring of self-help groups. There is need to establish a separate self-help group monitoring cell in every state. The cell should have direct links with district and block level monitoring system. The cell should collect both quantitative and qualitative information regarding functioning of self-help groups. So these are the some improvement measures needed for self-help groups. As a conclusion, Self-help groups engaged in development activities have the potential to empower their members through the provision of knowledge, skills, motivation, and competencies that underpin sustainable agriculture. The analysis revealed that besides contributing towards economic development, these self-help groups are important for social networking. While social activities are more prominent among groups with members who are wealthier, larger groups with more wealthier members mainly sought access to advanced technical information. Group involvement helps to establish appropriate marketing relationships and to minimize input cost. The result of the analysis indicate that both case study groups have the essential characteristics for effective group operation and are working successfully. So this presentation was all about self-help group. Hope this will be useful to all of you. Thank you very much. I have given here my YouTube channel details, Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastava. Having request, please visit the channel, subscribe it and provide your kind and valuable feedback. Thank you.